Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and today I am making a new illustration. Now for today's drawing, I'm actually doing part of a series which I sort of started recently where I draw myself as something. Now in the past I have done drawing myself as a superhero, and I've also done drawing myself as a witch. That was the Halloween sort of special one. Now today I am finally doing a Christmas special one. I actually asked on Twitter recently if Christmas themed videos are appropriate yet, and people have said that it has been appropriate since the 1st of December, so that's a good enough excuse for me, so I'm doing it. I'm doing a Christmas video. Now to start off this drawing, I am actually sketching it on my iPad Pro, my new one which I recently got, and I sort of showed off in a video. If you want to check it out, I'll put a card on the screen for that. But anyways, I knew I was going to want to sketch this digitally because it was just a very sort of complicated character design that I wanted to do, and I sort of wanted to play around with the anatomy a bit and try some different things. So I knew I was going to be doing a lot of sort of rearranging things and erasing things and changing things, and that's why I find it a little bit easier with digital art, because you can easily erase and transform and move things around much more easier than you can on traditional. So today I am drawing myself as an elf, and yes, pun intended. I'm sorry, I just love pun humor. So yeah, I basically just sketched it all up on my iPad, and then I drew the background sort of in a separate file, and then I chucked the character onto the background itself afterwards. I just find that a little bit easier because it's just a bit easier to draw the background separate sometimes. So to line this artwork, I am actually not using my multi-liners or digital liner. I'm actually decided to line this in colored pencil. Now, this is mainly because I wanted to use some of my mixed media paper, and I really love that sort of pencil texture for the line art sometimes. I find it just a little bit softer, and it's kind of fun to try different colors in the line art, and it just gives it a little bit of a different feel. Now for the style of this art, I definitely wanted to try and get it a little bit more cartoony. I actually did something which I haven't really done recently, and that was the arms. As you can see, they're sort of bendy. Now I did this on purpose. I sort of wanted the limbs to be a little bit more cartoony and almost noodly. See how there's no definitive elbow, it's just sort of curvy, and I am actually a little bit inspired by the style of Adventure Time for that part of the illustration, however not as intense. Adventure Time's character sort of cartoony style can be a little bit more intense, but I still wanted to have a hint of that because I definitely wanted to have a sort of childish feel to this drawing. Now to color in this artwork, I am obviously using my Copic markers because they're the best thing in the whole wide world. Copic markers are, I don't know, they're just sort of magic. They are my favorite medium and I love them so much, and I can't stop collecting them. Actually, recently I did get a bunch of new markers. I bought 10 new markers and 3 new inks, so I am trying out some of those today. Now I started off with colouring in the character, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't do. Usually I like to colour in the background first. However, I was just so excited to colour in this character because I was very happy with how the art was turning out, and I really was impatient and I wanted to see what it would look like coloured, so I just went straight into the character. But that's okay because the shading for the character actually turned out pretty nice, and I'm quite happy with how it looks on the background. But we are getting too ahead of ourselves here. I still haven't even started the background in this video, so we'll go back to talking about the character. Now for the shading of this character, I didn't want it to be too intense. I knew there was going to be a lot of patterns and colours in this drawing. I definitely wanted to keep the color palette sort of Christmassy, so there's a lot of red, a lot of green, and there's also quite a bit of gold in this as well, and that's the sort of color palette that I wanted to go for because this is one of Santa's elves, so of course they're going to be wearing colors like that. Now for the character's outfit, I definitely had to do a Google search and just look at images of Santa's elves, and I actually decided to come up with my own sort of spin on it a little bit. A lot of the times you'll see girl elves in like little skirts and dresses, and I just didn't want to do that because I'm drawing myself and I don't often wear dresses or skirts. So I actually decided to go for the sort of puffy pants style, which I really love, by the way. It sort of gives it that sort of feel. However, puffy pants just look so cute and they're fun to draw with all the little creases and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that I went for that sort of style for the pants. Now, obviously I gave her a green hat with some little bells on her shoes and the tip of her hat. I didn't want to do a sort of pom-pom style because I thought that was too close to Santa, and this is an elf, not Santa, but I still wanted to still have that sort of white fluffy material, so I actually decided to put that around her shoulders. Now for her arms and her legs, she is wearing a little bit of gold there, and I decided to do gold for those parts because I wanted them to sort of stand out. And then on top of that, I used my pencils to add some green, red and white stripes to sort of hint to a candy cane style. I thought that was really cute and I really liked how that turned out. And yeah, after I did sort of minimal shading with simple colors, I went over with my colored pencils and added some little highlights here and there. And then after that, I actually used my gel pen to add some sort of spots to the green parts. Now these aren't just like spots. I tried to make it look like that fabric was sort of glitzy and sparkly. So we do have like different sized spots in different areas, and I tried to just keep it sort of natural looking and not like a pattern. And I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I think it added a lot of sparkle to this drawing and a lot of highlights, and it just makes it pop a little bit more. And I'm quite happy with, yeah, that. So now onto the background, and I am going to use some of the same colors that I've used before, but a sort of a lighter version of them. I knew that this sort of artwork had a very intense color palette, so I wanted to sort of tone it down a little bit for the background so that the character would still stand out. So I used some light rouge and some new sort of green colors which I recently bought, and then I used a sort of very pale yellow for the goldish parts, and then I also used my new neutral grey Copic markers for the sort of silvery presents. Now I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do shading on the presents or if I wanted to do patterns on the presents because of the wrapping paper. So what I ended up actually doing was I did both. So I just sort of slightly shaded it a little bit, not too intensely because I didn't want it to be too crazy because the background does have a lot of patterns and colors on it. And then yeah, after that I added some nice little designs on each of the presents with my colored pencils and also my gel pen. So for the green presents, I actually added some little spots. For the yellow presents, I added some sort of diagonal stripes. For the silvery coloured presents, I actually used my metallic pencil to add stars, and for the red presents, I added sort of vertical stripes. And I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and yeah, here is the final results, and I'm so happy. I love the colours in this, I love the highlights in this, I love the style. It's sort of a more childish, almost like a children's book style, and that's what I was trying to go for. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little character design sort of video. Make sure if you haven't already, click like and subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified when I upload as well. So let me know below what you guys think and any other ideas for drawing myself as a something. And yeah, thank you again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone!